Good evening, everyone. We're a little late today. How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome. We have to talk about Dr. Fauci tonight. How's everyone doing, man? Let me make sure
Good
the guys
evening,
are okay.
everyone.
Perfect. What's up, man? How you doing? Who's here? We have CCTV. What's up, man? You here for more Mexican takes, big dog? We have J Boss and we have Eves. How you guys doing, man? How you doing? I'm feeling well. I'm feeling rested, a little bit rested. A lot of transitions here that we're gonna have to deal with, but it's fine. Gonna be a new studio soon. It's gonna look exactly the same, but it's gonna be a new studio. So it'll be like a different studio. I can hear you audio. Okay, perfect. Yeah, man. How's everyone doing tonight? We have to talk about Fauci. I am not super excited to talk about this. My producer, he and I both. I'm gonna be fairly upfront with everyone here. I hate Dr. Fauci. I hate anyone associated with the COVID thing. I don't feel a burning anger anymore. I did not believe anything that happened with this. I saw someone die, myocarditis. They were revived, but they died. It was crazy, man. I went to play soccer on this app here. I don't know if it still exists where you would meet with strangers. This guy died. It was crazy. We finished playing and no one knew him, and I got to know his mother and all that. I had a family member affected by this uh vaccine stuff. They should have listened to me, but whatever. We're not gonna litigate that. Um, so that's my bias up front. I never bought any of this. I still don't. I think that most of the problems we have today come from this. The financial and economic problems. And some people are finally starting to say it from the left, the liberal left, which was largely responsible for pushing this. But again, and this is where my producer and I completely agree, Donald Trump is just as responsible. Donald Trump is, I will never, I don't understand how people make this separation in their mind as to the person who destroyed this country economically and financially. It started there? Like, there's this narrative that people make that it was all Biden. No, there was agency, there was choice, and I really, this is a topic that I don't talk about too much in my personal life. I don't talk about COVID, but we have to talk about it tonight because we're doing a whole dog and pony show uh, about how Dr. Fauci, who has a preemptive pardon, is on trial or something. It's all bullshit. It's like completely fake. Oh yeah, he's on. What are you gonna do about it? None of these people ever get punished. And if there was someone who needed to be punished, it would be this guy. I remember people used to say like, "Oh, he was bad because he did stuff with AIDS too." I don't give a shit about any of that. Honestly, it was before my time. I don't give a shit about that. I care about this. I don't know where you were in life when COVID happened. It significantly retarded my trajectory. I did not enjoy it. Thought it was I knew from the beginning, from the first day, that it was bullshit. I was going to school a lot of Chinese international students at the time, and I knew this whole thing was. I didn't buy it. And there's different variations of what it means to say that something is bullshit. You can contest I don't talk about the virus. I don't care about that, honestly. I really don't. What I care about is how they shut down the whole world. I wonder how many people died because of this. I remember I was listening because it was an insane time where you couldn't really listen to anyone that made sense. I think it was Tom Woods had on a guest who said how they were shutting down Mali. And he was like, dude, they're going to kill everyone in Mali, which was crazy. And I think they did it. And who knows how many people died? It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And you'll get gaslit and told that it wasn't as bad as it was. And by the way, on the other end now, everyone is insane. Everyone is crazy. This is a big reason why. I knew from the beginning this was going to destroy the financial markets, destroy the economic market, destroy families, destroy everyone is crazy now. So I don't think it was worth it. I really wonder who, we'll never know the truth about this. It's kind of like 9/11, I think. But I would like to know who had how did it happen exactly? And we won't ever know that. J Boss says inflation definitely comes from this. Inflation is like fully from this, and people are just now starting to realize that because they're geniuses, right? Right, Barry's economics. He's a genius. He figured it out only 5 years too late, right? I knew this. I swear to God, man. As soon as I saw the first story, I knew this was all bullshit. It was just going to destroy the financial markets. I knew it. I knew it. And they talk about the biggest wealth transfer in history. Yeah, I saw that coming. I think a lot of people did. Not a lot, probably like 10,000 people in the whole world. And that doesn't make me smarter. It just makes me like, I actually think about things, unlike other people. So whether you love the virus, hate the virus, not really my problem. I think that the response was one of the worst things that's ever been done. And the cope I see around it is just ridiculous. So we're going to talk about one of the architects of the response, which was Fauci. And we're going to look at some COVID stuff that happened back then that people have forgotten, but I won't ever forget, man. Like this was some crazy shit. It was a crazy time. And he should be in jail. He should be exiled. He should be in real trouble, but he won't be. Because, I mean, we'll get into the analysis later, right? But President Trump is going to get preemptive pardons. That's going to be a standard thing from now on. That the Democrats started, by the way, with Joe Brandon. That's you. Thank your Democrats, folks. Anyone who's still a Democrat in 2026, thank your Democrats for making so every president that comes in after Brandon is going to be the most corrupt and inept person ever, because they can just pardon everyone on the way out as a preemptive pardon. And for some reason, you still have a Fifth Amendment right. That's not how that works, despite what people will tell you. If you have a pardon, if you are not allowed to be charged for something, you are compelled to answer. But no one's going to actually say that because no one gives a shit, right? So let's start the show, man. Let's start here, and we're going to get to COVID. I just need to let you know that, I'm normally a happy-go-lucky guy, but we have to talk about this, and I'm not a huge fan of the COVID topic because I find I don't have pleasant memories of the period. I did not enjoy it, and I don't gaslight myself. I remember exactly what it was like. So let's start the show. Let's start here firstly with Alan Ritchson again, the guy who plays Reacher. He's been doing more interviews. Let's check this out here real quick. And I read an interesting theory as to why he's behaving this way. Let's see this here.
I was working with Guy Ritchie on Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, and one of my favorite things about working with him is he's an intellectual. He said at one point, he goes, I think everybody should wake up in a pool of their own teeth and blood. At some point in time.
All of us?
He really amped it up.
He goes, I think it would make the world a better place if everybody did, right? And I was like, at the time, I was like, no, that's like such an Old Testament God kind of thing. And like, there's a whole new way of doing things. We should love everybody. And he was like, so vehemently disagreed. And since that point in time, so many things have happened in my life where I'm like, it would be so much better if everybody woke up with their own teeth. Look at the politics that we deal with right now. Like the White House is in ruins. A fucking UFC cage on the lawn. And like, you just do it. You just fucking do it. And nobody says anything. And no consequences. Nobody asked. It wasn't done legally. There's no plan in place. Now you're asking for money to create society. It's like, what are we doing? And there's no consequences. And so so like, I'm just supposed to let go of my resentment that this fucking guy is just raping the world that he lives in for whatever gain he personally can have. And I'm supposed to let that go. And then what? It fucking still exists.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not good at letting it go. I fucking hate it. Yeah. I hate that shit still lives in the world, unabated, unchecked, unresolved, uncleansed. Look at the Catholic Church and like the predatory behavior that is just going completely unmet with those victims that are still like unheard, unseen, no forgiveness, no resolution, no cure. And what is releasing the fucking resentment going to do for the world? Like, I think we should hold on to some of that anger so somebody gets Guy Ritchie'd and wakes up in a pool of their own teeth and blood. I was working.
So the theory I read as to why Alan Ritchson is so annoying I can't tell because listen, man, I'm rewatching Mindhunter right now. I don't like that show. I really don't, even though I'm a huge Fincher fan. And the reason I don't like it, I remember back in the 2010s, there was always this debate. They would have this debate of like, can a straight guy play a gay guy in the movies, right? And they would say, like that's not allowed because of identity reasons or something. And I was always like, dude, who gives a shit, right? Like Philip Seymour Hoffman played a gay guy once. That was pretty good. And gay guys play straight guys all the time, right? Like David Fincher again. Tyler Perry's gay, right? Am I making that up? Tyler Perry's gay. Hang on. Is Tyler Perry gay? Oh, he's not gay? Oh, dude, I thought Tyler Perry was gay. All right. Well, anyway, there are gay actors who have played straight people. Obviously, most actors are gay, right? And they're pretty good at it. But I'm watching Mindhunter again, and the lead is this guy who is clearly gay, and he's gay in real life, and he's playing a straight guy. It's not like a straight guy who's battling with sexuality or anything. It's a straight guy, and I'm watching this show. I think it's Josh Groban or something, and I'm like, we should have this conversation too, which is that some people may not be able to play straight characters if they can't do that, right? Like it just doesn't make sense. I had the same thing watching that stupid movie Office Romance, where Brett Goldstein, who's clearly gay, in I don't know if he's gay in the movie he's gay, but he's playing a straight guy. Anyway, that's what Alan Ritchson is reminding me of, like of a gay guy playing a straight guy in a movie. But I guess this is real life, right? So I don't know. I'm not trying to make fun of his sexuality. I really am not. But there is this, it's kind of like, it's actually kind of Republican coded the way he's behaving. It's like kind of gay, like gay impotent anger. You know what I mean? It's not like sassy, like, like that's different. That's endearing. Like people find that interesting. Like I thought Tyler Perry was like that. I thought he was like sassy gay, something like that. This is like you are impotent, like you're angry that you can't do something. So you're mad about it, right? Anyway, that's what he's acting like. And anyway, the theory that I read recently as to why he's behaving in this way, where like he's a tough guy and everything, even though, he's just on trend. I mean, if you're born tall and do trend and eat a lot of protein, you're going to look like Alan Ritchson, right? I'm not taking away from it, but I'm just saying he can do it, right? So is that he might actually believe that he is the character he's playing. And this has happened with other actors in the past. To some extent, this happened with like Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like they think that they are Rocky or Conan the Barbarian or something. And it's really pathetic for anyone else to watch because you're going, dude, you play dress up for a living. So like the tattoo and the big watch and all that, you're kind of, dude, what are you doing? We can obviously tell that not everything is right with you. So why are we pretending this here? And I don't know who this is for. I don't know what happened to the Resistance TM. It used to be so different.
What the fuck happened to you, man? Your ass used to be beautiful.
Again, my frustration with Democrats, there is no resistance. There is no stopping anything. There's no real attempts to stop anything. And I remember during the first Trump term, we had like, it was retarded, obviously. It was stupid resistance they were doing. But, everyone was yelling all the time, making your life hell because silence was violence. I remember that. I'd be like, hey, I don't want to talk about politics in my Mac 101 class. I just want to do the math. No, you have to talk about. Okay, well, then I guess we'll talk about it. That was really annoying, right? So I just, Resistance TM, at least it was everywhere and stuff. Now it's just this. And it's like, this is really pathetic. Reminds me of like during the Resistance TM, there was Rick Wilson and the Lincoln Project and that whole thing, which was obviously gay. I mean, they had that little scandal with like the boy interns or whatever, which was real. I'm not making that up. I'm not doing I'm not counter singling Michael Tracy. That actually happened. But this whole thing is just, it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. Let's continue Let's check in on the conservatives over here. Let's check in on Tommy Lauren. Does anyone remember Tommy Lauren, one of the most insufferable people? What was it? Final Thoughts, her segment on Fox News. A true girl dad's daughter. Let's check in on Tommy Lauren, what she's doing these days.
The place that people are having the affairs is the gym. It's the gym. It's not that they're not going to the gym and they're going somewhere else. It's that they meet people at the gym.
100%.
So when people say it's like, oh, like you're going to go out to the bars isn't where people cheat.
No.
You know, and my thing is, I tease about this all the time. Yeah. My husband is somebody that's like very protective of me, right? And like he's on the road a lot, and so now I work every day of the week. But if I used to like go out in Nashville without him, I'd be like, well, if you're gonna go to the bars, you know, that would be like the bars is where people find people. I'm like, it's not.
It's not.
If you haven't been to a bar recently, it's not.
Yeah.
And I would say this, no, actually, sweetie, it's the Lifetime Fitness in Franklin, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Where you go.
I actually
that's where the affairs are.
So in my office, there's a number of young women in their like mid to late 20s who work there in the front office, and they're often talking about looking for love and how hard it is to meet the right guy. And a couple of times, when you're eating lunch or whatever, I've said, like, well, where do you go? And they're like, well, we're on the apps and we go to bars. And I was like, why don't you go to the Equinox on Wall Street? Like, with the money that you're spending on those apps, you could get a membership at a really high-end gym and show up at 5 a.m. I work out at an Equinox at 5 a.m. You know who's in there? Really fit guys. Really fit guys who want to get their workout in before work. And by the way, great choice of guys. They're disciplined. They trade what they want now for what they want most. Like and by the way, how easy is it for a woman in the gym to get a guy's attention without it being like, oh, could you spot me on this? Guys love that. Of course, you can improve your form by doing this. Like men love it. So that would be the best place to meet somebody, whether you're looking for someone or whether you shouldn't be looking for someone. And so I think you're absolutely right. That is the spot. There is a lot. I mean, and also look, think about when you're at the gym. You're kind of in your body, you're kind of like feeling kind of, if you're a man, you're feeling strong, you're feeling activated. Maybe sometimes you're feeling a little bit beat up, but you're feeling like your best version of yourself and you're kind of in your physical state. I used to say to my buddies all the time, like, why are you going to bars? Go to a yoga class. Like, it's a bunch of women in tight clothing doing animal poses. Like, and you're just being there, you have credibility because you're doing yoga. You're like an evolved guy. Why go to a bar when that's available to you?
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, that's also, to me, the breeding ground. It's a petri dish for people who are cheating. And it's not just men, it's the women too.
100%.
And the reason I think it is to the point about the apps and whatever, it's easy to just, well, I'm just at the gym. Right. I'm just talking to so-and-so at the gym. And it's like, you can make it, you can pass it off as very benign.
And that's what I said earlier, that nobody wakes up and goes, I'm going to screw my life up today. Like, people just are like, oh, I'm at the gym. And then there's a cute person at the gym and you chat with each other because there's nothing wrong with being friendly and chatting with someone at the gym. And the next thing you know, you're looking at this person's Instagram and now you're friends on Instagram. You're liking each other's pictures and now you see each other and you go, oh, I saw you went to Tulum. Where did you stay? I'm thinking about going. And boy, you looked great in your bikini. And all of a sudden you're like, whoa, how did we get here? And what it is that gradual progression. Like,
the place.
Just woke up in a fucking steaming mood, because I live in a shithole.
What amazing stuff out of our conservative media, right? Look at what Tommy Lauren is doing. Yeah, that is a divorce court guy, whatever, divorce lawyer guy. How amazing. I don't understand why anyone is. What are we doing here, folks? I don't understand what this is. All the conservatives that they're all swinging. They do some. What is conservative culture but swinging and Chrissy Noem's husband dressing up as a woman? What you're worried about an affair? I think if you're conservative, you're not worried about your wife's affair. You're worried about your affair becoming public. That's what you're worried about. What is this? I don't understand what we're doing here anymore. This country is hell. This is a country.
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
This just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. Let me get this straight here, because the claim here is that the bars are not where people go for affairs now. That's probably true, because bars suck, right? People are doing it at the gym. Have you talked to any of the goyim at the gym? I hate talking to the goyim at the gym. They are the worst people in the world. They have no decorum, no conduct, no sense of anything. I've been to many gyms in my life. I've been to UFit. I've been to Planet Fitness. I've been to Equinox. I've been to LA Fitness. Without fail, every gym is the most, I don't know, maybe it's just not my style or anything. Everyone at the gym is an asshole these days, except for maybe one or two people at the front desk. And that's it. And that one guy who's like working out that you asked to spot you. That's it. I don't ask people to spot me. I don't ask people to help me out. And more often than not, I find that whether they're men or women at the gym, people are just plain rude and assholes. I go to the gym and I don't talk to anyone there. So I don't know what world, it really is the K-shaped economy. I don't know what this is. So the woman should go to the Equinox on Wall Street to go find a husband. That's great. That's great knowledge, man. I'm sure that it's not going. This is what I don't understand about boomer advice. I really don't get it. Everyone is going to do it if you prescribe it. And then what's going to happen? It's going to stop working immediately. Immediately. No, I don't think that's the second issue with this. But principally, we have the completely caked up Tommy. How old is Tommy Lauren now, dude? I probably was like 16 when Tommy Lauren started. How old is this woman talking about affairs at the gym? Tommy Lauren is 33 years old. Is she married? Since 2022 to a baseball player. Amazing. Let's check this out here. Let's do a little snooping here real quick. 2022. Interesting. He went to Westminster. Oh, Westminster. That's crazy. Was he born here in Miami? Amazing stuff. Tommy Lauren works here. This, I don't even understand what the point is of the, let's see this. Laura announced she was engaged for 2019. This woman is 7 years into a relationship. Oh no, she called off an engagement. And why would anyone take advice from this woman? Why would anyone take advice from this woman? Why would you? There are so many leftovers from 2016, whether they're Tommy Lauren and I don't understand why anyone listens to them. Is this really the problem we're having in America right now? People having affairs at the gym? Because I was told that the birth rate was plummeting. Every conservative, it seems to be on their mind all the time, how people aren't having sex and there's no children being born. And Elon Musk is going to legalize comedy and we're going to save this. Maybe we should have more of these, actually. Maybe we should have these. Do you want children or do you? I don't understand. It reminds me a lot of how, I think it was Kevin Samuels, man, or like the Hoteps talk about this. The conservative media ecosystem is becoming the black church, where they told me it's literally designed as chatty Cathy crap to appeal to ladies. Because who is this for? Who is this for? Is this, you are transmitting this, Tommy Lauren. I wonder, so Tommy Lauren's audience watches this, right? Which I assume are a lot of ladies around her age, 30 to 40, who are just like crazy conservative women, right? Great. Okay. And then what? Then they start monitoring their husband's gym access. They start going, hey, honey, I heard on Tommy Lauren that you going to the gym is because you want to fuck someone else. And then he goes, no, honey, no. But this idea is seated in your head, right? And it's not even your fault. You have been mind raped by Tommy Lauren's stupid show. And now you've introduced friction and issues into someone's marriage. Why? What is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of it? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't understand why these people, what the point is of conservative media. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Let's continue. Let's go back to ragging on the Democrats. This is the latest poll that came out. Is this CNN? Or I think this is CNN. But here we can see this poll here about Democratic favorability, which is unsurprising to anyone who watches this show.
The Democratic Party net favorability. Back in 2018, when Democrats were able to take control of the House, they were actually on the plus side of the ledger. They were actually in positive territory at plus 1 point. Look now in 2026. We're not just talking down there underneath the Potomac. We're talking down there with the Titanic. We're talking 24 points underwater. And this is just the party overall. This isn't the congressional leadership. This is the party. The party. It's just a terrible, terrible, terrible brand. Terrible. I want to almost get my Charles Barkley. Terrible, terrible. I can't even do a Charles Barkley. But the bottom line is it's absolutely terrible. Now, what is the reasons? Why is the Democratic brand so terrible? The Democratic Party.
It is about time, man. It's about time. I see this through Alex. There are people who still are Democrats. I know that there's people who are still Republicans, and that goes without saying. They're retarded, right? But there are people who are still Democrats, too. People are still being Democrats. It's about time that this happens. I don't know why it took so long for this to happen. How did it, dude? In some ways, I always rag on conservatives, and conservatives are retarded, right? They're all idiots, but the Democrats, it's also another type of idiocy where it's like a rat that has to eat cheese, right? And you know, if you eat the cheese, they're going to bash your head in with a hammer, whether it's Medicare for all, which never happened, or what else did they want? The Green New Deal, which never happened, or what else did they want? Gun control never happened. What else did they want? Infrastructure spending never happened. Nothing you want of value happens. I don't know why this is. It really is because I understand the Republican thing is partially like lack of education. It's people are like stupid. I vote Republican because my daddy voted, and that's fine. I can wrap my head around that. This I don't get. You're getting screwed every election. These people are animals who use you, and you still go, I don't know. I still think I need to vote for Joe Biden this election. Why? What advantage did you get personally out of that? What policy did you see come to fruition? Everything that has been done by the past 2 Democratic administrations has been completely repealed. Everything. So what was the point of them? If you don't want to, and they are the party to rule America, they really are set for it. But if you don't want to do that, then get out of the way and let things get worse. They are insufferable as well, man. Insufferable as well. They're both insufferable. This country is clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. It's just crazy. J-Boss says, we all need to become dark centrists. Dude, I'm with AA, man. Like total centrism. Please, total centrism. What else are we going to do? These people are all crazy. They're all crazy. Speaking of crazy, genuine question. So you agree in general with Jimmy Dore holding the vote for the Democrats so they can prove themselves first? I might be phrasing this poorly. I don't believe in holding the vote to make things better at all. I don't have a Nick Fuentes theory for the Republicans or a Jimmy Dore theory for the Democrats. I just don't think that your energy and your time being harvested to even fill out a ballot that you can mail in that takes you, 10 minutes is worth your time or energy. I don't think it is. I really don't. And I don't see how people don't understand that they have limited time in the day. That's what I don't get. And you would rather spend those 10 minutes voting for Democrats in the midterms or Republicans in the midterms on your mail-in ballot, gooning. That would be a better use of your time than doing that. These people do not care about you. It's quite evident they don't care. But no, this time they're going to help me. No, they're not. Anyway, let's check in over here on Jeremy Boring. I don't know how this retard is still going after crashing the Daily Wire, interviewing Rob Dreher about J.D. Vance's retarded fat ass.
You've written about and even spoken here about your trip to D.C. and speaking to young Zoomers who are working within the government, working within the administration, and you say 30 to 40% of them, and and growing. I would add and growing, seem to adhere to this nihilistic worldview of sort of despair and revenge. It's not a constructive.
Tear it all down.
Tear it all down. Who represents them politically?
Heavy sigh. I had hoped that J.D. Vance would be the
with
guy.
whom you were friends.
It was an interview I did with him in 2016 for the American Conservative that launched his political career. It was an accident, but it went mega viral, and boom, he was suddenly a best-selling author. We stayed friends after that. I don't know that we're friends anymore. He cut me off after I went to visit late last fall to talk to him about this very thing. Now, I'm not going to disclose our conversation, but I will just say that I pointed out to him these people, the Fuentes, the Groypers, all of them are going to destroy conservatism in the Republican Party. And I said to him, because of your background, because of your age, you're uniquely positioned to draw a red line there. Say, no, we are not going to accept that. And I asked him to do it. It's not my position to say what he said, but I will say firmly, unequivocally, I do not think J.D. Vance is an anti-Semite. I do not think he's a racist at all. But I've written a couple of things since then, calling on him to please be a leader, take a stand. Take a stand for your own Christian beliefs for your own wife, but he hasn't chosen to do it.
I don't understand what's going on here. I don't.
Shut up, man. Man, listen. You ain't got to say.
I hate Fat Boy as much as the next guy, but what are we talking about here, Rob Dreher? So let me get this straight. JD Vance is clearly a groyper. Why is he a groyper? Because he won't take a stand against them. Even when they're attacking his wife. Don't they literally hate him? Haven't they reiterated this a million times? They've reiterated this forever and ever. It's the same. I don't get it. I really don't get it. How is this going to work here? And as far as the first claim from Boring, pretty ironic that this retard is sitting in front of a flamethrower produced by the guy who went into the federal government and decided to destroy things like USAID to complain about how young people only want to tear things down rather than build anything constructive. You're a grown-ass man sitting in front of a flamethrower. And you're saying that? Really, Jeremy Boring? Really? You destroyed the Daily Wire. They're picking up your mess. You're a moron. You're Jeremy Boring may be one of the stupidest people in this country. Actually, he spent how many millions of dollars making some knockoff Lord of the Rings thing that bankrupted the Ben Shapiro show? This person is beneath everyone. And why do you think that whether they're groypers or they're not, like, dude, the Luigi Mangione wing, I don't even know what to call it, the radicalized normie of the Democrat Party, they want to destroy this country as well. It seems like a lot of people under 35 want this country destroyed. So what is the complaint? What is the idea? It's JD Vance wants to represent them even though he's not making it easy for them. And young people don't want to build, they just want to destroy. That seems like a you problem. Haven't you been working in this movement, the conservative movement? How old is Jeremy? Let's be specific here. 1 second. Let's look this up. Let's look up his biography real quick. I'm sure he has a Wikipedia page by now. Jeremy Boring, who I've heard from friends in Hollywood ruins everything he touches, including the conservative club in Hollywood. Let's see this here. He's been active. He joined here, blah, 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 film production company, first feature film. Okay. He's been active since 2013. This man has been in the conservative movement for over a decade, for 16 years. 16 years. This is a 47-year-old man. This is a grown-ass man over here. And you have not been able to sell anything. You are not a competent CEO. You're not a competent salesman. You are not good at what you claim you are. And you're angry because people won't buy into your shit. That sounds like a problem of yours, that you were unable to transmit a constructive message to people. Because it seems like you built something which is falling apart that no one watches, and now you're mad that people are saying, fuck it, man, this country sucks. Okay, Jeremy. Seems like it's your problem then. It seems like it's your problem. Let's move on to the next segment, everyone. It's crazy, man. It's crazy what we have to put up with here with the...
The people are retarded.
We're going to throw back today to some COVID stuff. Why don't we throw back to... This is real, by the way. It's not staged. A conservative... I remember watching this video months ago. When President Trump won. Let's look at this lady here who was scared they were going to steal the election.
They just found a batch of new ballots. 40 million new ballots. Kamala Harris is president-elect.
Bullshit! She better not have.
You know what? Hillary Clinton and her are working together. They're hiding files.
What?
She's your president, Tina.
She ain't my president.
She just won the election.
A woman can't run this country.
God. on, not if it's like you.
Oh, I get it straight.
They just
Right. We're not supposed to destroy this country, right? We're supposed to love it. We're supposed to cherish this country. This is the greatest country in the world, right?
Disgusting and gross. I mean, you should just be. I don't like ugly, stupid freaks.
This is what a conservative is now. Missing teeth, obese, poorly dressed, bad hygiene, needs to shave. This is what it means to be a conservative now. I wonder if her life has materially improved. I wonder if it has improved since Donald Trump's election. Has it gotten better? I bet you the answer is no. This is a country of superstition, of I don't understand how we are meant to how are we supposed to go forward when this person is this person holds an American passport, someone who weighs approximately 270 pounds, maybe 300, tattoo visible, will not invest in clothing, will not invest in a 5-minute investment to shave your face. This is representative of the country. This is where it's going. This is half of it. Right, Jeremy Boring. Why would people want to destroy this country? The people look great. Let's continue. Let's check in on this little modification they did to the newest conservative influencer we saw yesterday.
Iran doesn't control the Strait. I control the Strait, and quite frankly, we have to prevent them from getting a nuclear weapon, which we did last year, totally obliterated it, but it's like an annual subscription of some sort. They're begging for a deal, even though they bombed our bases last night.
Amazing. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. This AI stuff, man, this is gonna take over entirely. Look at that. It's so gross. It's so real. So real. So real. Absolutely, J-Boss.
Sensational.
Amazing use. This is what the economy's hanging on to a thread by the way, to do this stuff. This is what's holding it all together. Duct tape and WD-40s was holding this economy together right now to produce this. We need more of these, man. We need more of these. Let's continue. Speaking of AI, I wanted to show you this because, I feel like Elon Musk. God damn, I never thought I would say that. That's a horrible statement. I hate myself now. I feel like Elon Musk. Jeez. No, I don't mean like I feel like I'm on ketamine or anything. What I mean is that I'm resigned to the AI thing. I used to think, at this point I ascribe malice. Before it was like ignorance. I was like, we have a lot of people who are using AI to make AI images of children. They've been doing that for years. And I've been sitting here going, I don't think that's a great idea. I think that making AI images of children is going to lead to bad things. I don't have to get into specifics. I think anyone with an IQ over 115 can surmise what I'm speaking about. But they won't stop. They won't stop. And look at the latest ones, because now they're doing vintage children. This is going to be great for anyone born in the 70s who has some proclivities with children.
What will computers be able to do in the future?
They'll probably do our homework. Maybe they'll make movies for us. I think we'll just tell them what to do.
I don't want to hear any complaints when this technology is used for other things. I really don't, dude, because the problem here isn't really just this. It's the interactions, 1/3 of a million views, Sora was amazing at this. That uncomfortable pause, though, laughing. Is this out? You have given all responsibility to the development of a technology that is transformational, or so I've been told. I'm not sure if that's true. To perhaps the most autistic and socially inept group of people in the world, which is Silicon Valley. That is, I don't know who is approving this. If you went back in time, let's say you went back in time to the early 2000s, not so long ago, and you walked into, I don't know, the CEO of Mattel, his office, and you said, I have an idea for an ad. We can show a child doing a lewd pose, and that will make them all buy something. You would be put in prison, actually. He would call the cops on you. But these people, they don't have any of these. They don't have any of these things to worry about. They don't care. They don't care. They are horrible people. And so the fact that as a society, you have allowed them to be in control of this technology, you deserve everything that you get. Let's continue. All right, let's skip this for the day, man. Let's look at this over here. This is very interesting, okay? This has been happening at the World War II Memorial in DC. Let's check this out.
So we have the Pacific there. So that woman's splashing her feet in the water. Well, everyone is. This is like disgraceful because it says honor our veterans, right? It says like don't go in the water, and that kid is literally going in the water. And you can see that like people are just walking in the pool. See all the water that kid just flew? Yeah. And then there's those ones over there chasing the ducks.
Yeah. Like, this should be a place of, like calmness, you know?
See? Oh, just fell. See? Oh. It's so disrespectful.
Like, it's not a water park.
No, it's not a water park. This is a war memorial.
It's a memorial, yeah.
I hate everything about it. And then in between us and Lincoln is a reflection pool. So let's go take a wander.
So I just want to point out that here it says sitting with your feet in the water is okay. Walking in the water is not okay. This guy has the appropriate attitude.
I have noticed this in recent years, like in the past 2 years. I don't know why people, when I was a kid, it was common knowledge that this fountain water was disgusting. But I've seen this all over the world, man. I've seen a lot of people now letting their children play in. I've been to this memorial. This is the World War II Memorial in DC. I went as a kid. When I was there, no one was going in the water. Whether you're dipping your feet or going into the water. I don't know when the normies decided that, amoeba and all this stuff doesn't exist. It's really odd. I've seen this because people are making this about immigration. I don't know if it's about that. Everyone seems to be satisfied with putting their feet into disgusting water like this. This is gross. Like, this is animals go in here. It's full of diseases. And they're saying it's disrespectful. I'm going to be real with you, man. You can look this up. It's not just me. The architecture critics say it. The World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. is one of the ugliest memorials ever made. It is disrespectful on its face. It is one of the ugliest memorials ever made in the history of this country. It is incredibly ugly. It's so ugly. This thing should be torn down. I'm saying that as I didn't have family in World War II, none of that. This is the ugliest. This is almost as ugly as the Russian 9/11 memorial. And that one's really ugly. This memorial is terrible. I'm sure people don't remember. Now, because no one actually cares about architecture, it's a very ugly memorial. I don't think you can make it worse. But I'm just wondering, because their thing is like, oh, the immigrants are disrespecting the veterans. My question is more so, why are people comfortable dipping their feet into this water? This is really gross. It's gross. And I've seen this everywhere. I've seen this in other countries. And it's beyond America. It's a lot of people, a lot of different ethnicities. How you doing, audio? That are swimming in public fountains. I've seen it here in Miami. It's insane. It's crazy. They don't care. They don't care. I mean, the normie they're just crazy. They're crazy. Let's continue. I wanted to show you this. This was a mass shooting that happened recently in Seattle. Let's check out how how some live viewers are able to experience it.
Everyone, make sure you guys subscribe. Help me get to 100,000. I'm like 2,000 subscribers away. That is literally one viral video. And 200K. I'll get that plaque that says 100K. Shooting? Oh, shit. Oh, shit, right here. Get down, get down, get down, get down. Yeah, just get down. Oh, it's right there. Oh, shit. Get the register and come. Yeah, get the register and the tips. And the tips. Everyone, make sure you.
I don't even know what to. The state of. I don't understand this country. This Baudrillard would be loving this. Baudrillardians check in. Now, do you see how? I don't know if it's Marvel or social media or both. Let's see his reaction really quick.
That is literally one viral video. And 200K. I'll get that plaque that says 100K. Shooting. Oh.
So, this guy here announces. I understand. You hear the first shot, right? So, but you don't know what it is. He tells you there's a shooting.
Shooting. Oh.
He looks to the camera to announce to the audience that there's a shoot. Before self-preservation, before anything else, he looks to the camera to explain to the audience what's going on.
Shooting. Oh, shit.
Doesn't drop to the floor, like just. And I want you to notice, we live in a time of violence in this country. It's the years of lead, right? Our version, which is not like the Italian one, where it was like kind of interesting. The years of lead of America are ugly, like our country at this moment. Look at the people running away. Look at them. They're fat. Yeah. We live in a country where firearms are easily accessible, according to people who live in Seattle. They know that this is a threat. None of them care about looking better or being in shape to run away. Let's see.
Oh shit! Right here.
More fat people here. More fat. None of these people are running away. They're actually leaving the money here. They actually need to grab the money, which speaks to the economic desperation. That's how life is looking these days, where you have to grab your tip jar. Not just to register, the tip jar, because there's no money left.
Get down, get down, get down. Yeah, just get down. Oh, it's right there. Oh, shit.
Look at this. More fat, more fat. More fat. Why are you watching? Why are you still here?
Get the register and come. Yeah, get the register and the tips. And the tips. We'll make sure.
Is there a better encapsulation of how insane this country is turning? This is a. And you want me to walk around like things are normal, Jeremy Boring? You want me to say, oh yeah, this is great. This is amazing. Fuck out of here, man. Crazy. Oh, this is where I put it. I wanted to put this with Zoran's store. Well, keeping in mind Zoran's free grocery store, let's check in on this over here. Let's check in on the Canadians.
The Anarchist is a worker-owned, anti-capitalist, anti-colonial cafe, shop, and community space. Gabriel opened the space after leaving Vancouver due to its unwelcoming sense of classism. Though he never felt comfortable working in a coffee shop in BC, he knew if he were to have one of his own, it would have to adopt the values that occupy such a huge part of his life. A place devoted to radical leftist politics, revolution, ending capitalism, improving the world's economic system that benefits everyone and not just elites, and most importantly, sparking conversations that will help implement these ideas. Other than delicious coffee, which Gabriel is most definitely an expert in, the shop has a rich selection of progressive political books that he's selling at wholesale prices. I was happy to try some great light roast espresso here. I even tried my first espresso tonic, which is something of a micro-revolution in itself. I highly recommend paying a visit to Gabriel at 190 Jarvis Street, if not for great coffee, for even greater conversation.
Netanyahu, if you can hear me, drop a bomb on this building.
You know, when people talk about leftism in the current era, this is really what it is. It's just this. It's the anarchist bookshop The anarchist bookshop, when I was a kid, and I'm sure they still exist, there was always, in any city you went, the anarchist bookshop. You know, it was some old timer, some guy who was caught up in SDS when he was like a kid. You know, maybe planted a few bombs with Billy Ayers, and he was retired on some coastal town in Florida, and he decided to open the anarchist bookshop. And you'd go inside, and it was awesome. It had like a bunch of like books with broken spines because, you know, there's donations and all this. You know, that autobiography of Malcolm X, Potemkin, like a bunch of cool shit. You know, you had great, you'd even find some right-wing anarchists too. You'd find like, the guy who started the Postal Service. I forget his name. Yeah, you might even, because he was kind of a free expression guy, right? So you'd have Ayn Rand, but you'd also have Das Kapital, right? You'd have everything, right? Now they've even gentrified the idea of the anarchist coffee shop, the anarchist bookshop. Look at these books. What are the books? It's not the anarchist cookbook. It's, what is this? Recipes for Disaster, an anarchist toolbox, Expect Resistance, LARP, Sahur, People Over Profit, it's a clothing store, Spin Doctors, Canada and the World. Look, what are the books here? Let's see the books. Cyber Proletariat, amazing. I'm sure that's great. Disability Rights, 2nd edition, amazing. So good. Yeah, we're really going to. COVID-19 and the Future of Capitalism. A little too late for that one. Runaway Wives and Rogue Feminists. From Democracy to Freedom. This is slop. This is slop. This is the face of leftism now. The face of leftism is a slop consumer. This is why Baudrillard did not believe in communism, by the way. He visited the Communist Party headquarters of the French Communist Party one time, and he said, my God, mon Dieu, even the communists have been commodified. It's all been commodified. This is leftism now. This is what it is. It's a guy with a nose ring drinking an espresso tonic. I don't. You wanna tell me that Haas is LARPing? Maybe they are, you know. But what is this? This is mega LARP. This is LARP, 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 LARP. Light reading, bullshit reading. We're gonna talk about, you're the anarchist shop that has the Canadian disability rights book there? For what? You don't believe in the government. Why do you have that? For what? I hate it, man. I hate it. You meet cool. I love, this is why the normies can't coexist, man. You can't, because I love meeting like a real communist, man. I've met real Stalinists and shit. And that, you know, I love Stalin and everything, but you meet a real one, a devoted one. You're like, please never change, man. You're cool. He's like, no, dude, I hate the Democrats. I hate I don't vote. I'm cool. And this is cool, man. You meet a real right wing or a real libertarian. They're like, I don't want to vote. I hate this. And then you meet, I'm an anarchist, man. Yeah, I vote for Kamala Harris. Fuck you. Fuck you. Let's check in here. Speaking of, we've been making fun of both sides today pretty heavily. Let's check in on Anne Hathaway. Fresh off the, I don't even know if this is old or new, but I just saw this was so ridiculous. Anne Hathaway, fresh off the Odyssey.
With the exception of being a cisgender male, everything about how I was born has put me at the current center of a damaging and widely accepted myth. That myth is that gayness orbits around straightness, transgender orbits around cisgender, and that all races orbit around whiteness. And it is a myth that keeps money and power in the hands of the few instead of being invested in the lives of the free. I appreciate this community so much. because it's where I learned to reject this myth. I appreciate this community because together, we are not just going to question this myth, we are going to destroy it. With the exception.
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
I don't even know what this means, man. I literally, I don't even know what we're doing anymore. Everything orbits whiteness. So you're not a white supremacist. So you're a white supremacist. We need to stop. I don't know how people got away with this in the 2010s. If you believe in this stuff, you're a white supremacist. You might as well join the KKK. You look, and that's fine if you believe that, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a white supremacist myself. But we can't sit here and pretend that this vernacular, this Democrat vernacular, I don't know what else to call it. This is like 2010s shit-lib vernacular, is anything other than white supremacy. Everything orbits whiteness. This is a myth. Well, you're perpetuating the myth right now by repeating it. Myths are more powerful than the real. So you're a white supremacist, actually. So that I don't believe that. I don't believe that, because how do people get away with saying this stuff? How do they get away with saying this stuff? Yeah, okay, that's not what she meant. I don't care what she meant. You're telling me that I orbit whiteness, like some planet orbiting the sun. Like whiteness gives me meaning. It gives me life. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, man. I have no idea what you're talking about. And aren't you white? So what are you talking about? If you really, I don't know, man. If you're white like this, isn't this some white people community thing you would talk to the other white people about? Why are you saying this publicly? Why wouldn't you say this in private to the get together at the White People Council? You know, hello, my fellow white people. I think that everything orbits whiteness and we have to change that. At least then it's like hidden or something. You're saying it publicly, and anyone who's not white is supposed to cheer you on? No, bitch, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. You are doing white supremacy right now. Who do you think you are? You think that we're stupid? Like, you think people that aren't white are stupid? My God, man. All right, let's get to the fucking show, dude. These people are insufferable. The libs today are just, all right. It's a very slow show tonight. I wonder what's happening. So let's start with Fauci, and then I have a tab here called COVID memories. Okay, we're going to look at the COVID memory. Once again, for anyone who doesn't remember, Dr. Fauci was the head of the COVID-19 response. At least that's how conservatives frame it. I frame it as President Trump was the head of the COVID-19 response, because if I recall, at the time when COVID was COVID, President Trump was the president of the United States, which means he has ultimate authority. But I don't know. I was told by conservatives that Dr. Fauci was the one who actually was in charge because the deep state and Obama and Burisma or so, I don't know, like some bullshit about Benghazi. I don't know. They tell me it's Dr. Fauci, right? MB Tune Part says 2013 isn't 16 years ago. Right, it's 13 years ago. Okay. If you're new here, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Anyway, this guy he was the head of the response, supposedly. He like everything with Donald Trump. Donald Trump was tricked. He was hoodwinked. He had no agency. It wasn't his fault. It was Fauci. It was Fauci. So Fauci remained the villain of COVID. He remained like, this is a bad guy. He's the one that is like the one who ruined everyone's life. All right, whatever. Now, today, what happened is that Rand Paul, with his friends, his buddies, I don't know what Rand Paul, who's a fucking idiot, man. I don't even know why this guy is here. Whatever. He was teasing that he was gonna do Dr. Fauci show trial or something. Like, we're gonna put him in. Now, from the beginning, I said I don't know what the point of this is, because he has a preemptive pardon, and it seems like that's illegal. Because no one's taking it away. And President Trump has indicated he's going to give them to Hegseth and the whole administration. Okay. But still, we need to have the dog and pony show. We need to have the circus. We love our circus, don't we, folks? Don't we love our circus? So today, they brought him in front of Congress to answer questions. Now, firstly, let's look at some memes they made about this, okay? Let's check this out here.
Why are you gay?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
You are gay.
So the reason this is being memed, as we'll see, is that Dr. Fauci pleaded the fifth a lot. Let's get this out of the way here real quick. 1 second. Let me go on Gemini and let's get this done real quick, man. Let's do this here, because I'm curious here. If you are pardoned for a crime, can you be interrogated about it and plead the fifth? You cannot be prosecuted for it. So I don't see why you would be allowed to. Wouldn't it turn into some sort of civil trial type thing? Let's see. Type thing. Hello, Jamaican. Yeah, the Fifth Amendment protects you against self-incrimination. You cannot be forced to testify if you could lead to criminal prosecution. A presidential or gubernatorial pardon completely changes the math. Can you be interrogated? Yes. What can still get you in trouble? Unpardoned crimes and perjury. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so hang on. So today, Fauci was pleading the fifth on everything. Is that technically allowed? Or can he be compelled since he has a preemptive pardon? Let's check this. This is interesting. I love this kind of law bullshit. It's so much fun. So much fun. Let's see this here. The threat of perjury, new crimes. A presidential pardon only covers past acts. Lawmakers publicly signaled ahead of the hearing that they believe Fauci lied during past testimonies and intended to press him under oath to express inconsistencies. How good to give away your strategy, Rand Paul. What a fucking idiot. Limits and ambiguities of pardon. While the presidential pardon removes federal crime exposure for covered past action, is not a complete shield against all testimony. Okay, can he be compelled? In theory, yes, but only through specific court process. And they're not going to do this because they don't care. They don't care. It would have to go to a federal court, which they're not going to do. Amazing. So this is the real bread and circus of the day that we're getting. Okay, so let's move on. First of all, do you remember? No, this is for later. We don't have to do this here. Let's get to the story. First of all, let's look at this. This is what TMZ, this is Harvey, whatever his name is, Harvey Levin, who was heartbroken by this questioning of Dr. Fauci. And I don't really know why. I like some of the Harvey Levin stuff. You know, I like some of the paparazzi stuff. What the fuck does he know about Dr. Fauci? You know, let's check this out here. Let's see what he has to say here before we actually look at this, okay? Eve says, who would have standing? It seems like it's only a federal judge, sir. Only a federal judge. Or a state judge if they charge him on state crimes.
I have not used TMZ's YouTube channel to vent personal feelings about issues, but I'm going to do that today. Watching Anthony Fauci before a congressional hearing taking the Fifth Amendment is just one of the most heartbreaking things I have seen in government in my lifetime. And this is something we need to reckon with. That I'm going to say up front, I have problems the way the CDC handled COVID. I think that they did damage to children, to adults.
The reason we're watching this before we watch Fauci is because this shit lib slop that you're hearing here, this complete bullshit that this guy is saying here was repeated ad nauseum today. This is how, let me see. What's his name? Harvey Levin. Let me see really quick what his educational background is real quick. Harvey Levin. What is Harvey Levin's background? Let's check this out here. He went to law school and got a JD. Excellent. Who are you to comment on the COVID response about whether you think it's good or bad? You're a goddamn lawyer. In fact, you probably shouldn't be talking about this congressional thing because you're just a lawyer. You're not a member of Congress. You know nothing. You know nothing. You know nothing. And this is what it was all day hearing libs defend this guy.
And I don't think they did it maliciously. I think they did it because they were using their judgment and were overprotective, and I think at times overstated things they said they knew but really didn't. And I have personal problems with the way that COVID was handled. That said, Anthony Fauci, over a period of decades, has been an amazing public servant. In the 80s, I had many friends who died of AIDS, a horrible, painful death. And I had friends who lived.
No one gives a shit about AIDS. I don't care about, didn't they cure it? Dude, I'm at a point where I don't understand this, man. I don't understand this. I don't care about AIDS. I don't care. Why would I? Dude, this was 20 years before I was born. I don't care about AIDS. What? None of this has to do with AIDS. What are we talking about here? I don't care about AIDS. What does this have to do with Fauci now? What? You know, Ted Bundy was a lawyer, right? He also went on to murder people. I don't care about AIDS, or I'm going to be perfectly frank. I don't care about AIDS. I don't care about your friends who died of AIDS. I don't care about your experience with AIDS. Because I live in 2026. I don't care about that. I don't care about it. Because it doesn't matter anymore because it's been cured. What the fuck does that have to do with today?
Because of Anthony Fauci, because he was willing to look at experimental drugs in a different way than they had looked at them before. And that really resulted in lives saved. And he has done so many other things in his career to thwart epidemics, to save.
Like what, lawyer? Like what? Like what?
Save lives, not just in the United States, but all over the world. He has been a dedicated public servant who could have made a lot more money outside of government than inside, but he stayed. And now we are at a point where members of Congress, and yes, you, Rand Paul, are on a witch hunt. And the best I can say for Rand Paul is that he's being really honest.
You're not an elected official. You are not someone of note. You are a paparazzi. You are the lowest tier of journalists that has ever existed. If this were ancient Rome, journalists and prostitutes were treated with the same level of respect, which was minimal. You are not. Who are you to give any comment on this?
I mean, he has said now over a period of years, he wants Anthony Fauci in a jail cell. He has said it out loud. He wants him in a jail cell. That's the point of this hearing. That's why they're doing this. They want to take something that Anthony Fauci says and then claim it amounts to perjury, and they want to prosecute him, they want to convict him, and they want to throw him in prison. That's the point of this hearing. There is no other point of this hearing. There could be. I mean, there are things they could certainly ask him, but he can't answer. Because if he answers, it doesn't matter what he says. You know, if you can prosecute...
So are you being paid to be of counsel or something? Like, are you being paid to be a lawyer here? Why is this video being posted? Why is this? This This is very old school, giving people talking points crap.
Somebody for frickin' seashells on the beach shore, then you could certainly prosecute somebody for what they say in a congressional hearing. And that's the climate we're in. We are in a Senator Joseph McCarthy climate where there is such fear that people have, and legitimate fear, that they'll end up in prison for what they say, no matter what it is, if they are on the wrong side of somebody in Congress or the administration, that they have been silenced. And that's where we are right now. We are in Senator Joseph McCarthy territory. And the idea that you have to watch this man take the Fifth Amendment, and again, I will say that I disagreed personally with some of the CDC decisions. Absolutely, I did. That said, he's a public servant who worked for us and saved lives for decades. And we are turning him into what Rand Paul wants to be, a criminal. And Rand Paul has a political agenda, and it is prevailing here. Watching Rand Paul order security to throw Anthony Fauci's lawyer out of that hearing was unbelievable to me. We are in a dark period of America.
Okay, this was what a lot of libs sounded like today, man. Not left-wingers, dude, libs. And we're going to see why. I don't feel any sympathy for Fauci at all on a personal level. I don't care. I don't care what happens to him. How does Harvey feel about every person that he has railroaded and tried in the press through TMZ over his whole career? How does he feel about that? I wonder. You disagree? So maybe you should shut the fuck up. Maybe, and this is coming from someone who thinks this whole thing is a dog and pony show that shouldn't have happened. I am astounded at the level of sycophancy that still exists. Do you remember this? You remember the Fauci candles? Let's look up the Fauci candles. The Fauci prayer candles. They used to make these for oh look, they still sell them. Look at this. They used to make these for what? Look at this. Look at this. Look at the slop they sold people. $30 for this. $30. Let's look at the reviews. Look at this. Good quality and good likeness. Look at this. Look at these animals. Look at these goys. Look at these people don't deserve anything. They don't deserve anything. They don't deserve a right to have a credit card, a right to a bank account. Yeah, if you bought this, I don't know what to tell you, man. They used to do this with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Look at this. With Donald Trump, with Anthony Cuomo. If you buy this, you are bovine cattle. You are cattle. This sycophantic attitude towards one of the idiots who has who destroyed this economy. But anyway, let's get to the dog and pony show. Before we do that, they leaked his personal diary. Look at this, May 21st, 2020. Do you remember where you were then? I remember that I had just been scammed because I had to go finish courses from university at home. And they didn't give me a refund for the difference of what would have been an online course that was cheaper. This is what Anthony Fauci was doing. At task force meeting, I stressed the problem about the PPEs being diverted, blah, 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 blah. Big front page article about me appeared in the Washington Post. Very flattering. The situation with my national and international fame is explosive and really unimaginable. It is not hyperbole to say that today I am the most famous and talked about person in the country and one of the most recognizable person in the world. I'm reading it as is, sick. Countless profiles on me in multiple media. I cannot even read all the things that are written about me since I am so busy. Seriously. POTUS seems to be enamored of me, even though I am taking the spotlight away from him. We are developing a very unique and interesting relationship. This person should be in jail. This person should be in jail. How can you read this, even if you're fully on board with Fauciism, whatever it is, and not read this and go, this person is sick in the head. This is a sick person. This is real. This isn't some slop that they made up. This person should be in jail. They're crazy. They should be in a padded cell. Now, this is what Senator Rand Paul said to introduce everything. We're not going to watch the whole thing. This is the little show that he was doing. Again, nothing is going to happen here because of this. But here's Rand Paul doing his whole little show. He does have a political agenda, which is what's good for Rand Paul is good for Rand Paul.
While privately, he was well aware of a mountain of evidence suggesting the virus originated in the lab. The American people deserve answers. The American people deserve to know why dangerous research was funded by NIAID in a totalitarian country in a lab that lacked acceptable safety standards. The decision to fund dangerous gain-of-function research in Wuhan, China, will likely go down in history as perhaps one of the worst public health decisions. Frankly, the American people deserve an apology. I hope today Dr. Fauci will come clean, admit it was a mistake to fund dangerous research in China, admit that the risk of this dangerous research exceeded any possible benefits, ask forgiveness, and pledge to help our government devise safeguards so a man-made epidemic never happens again. Instead of an apology, you have for years avoided responsibility regarding the lockdown.
From the beginning, you see the framing, because this is all a big show. I hope Dr. Fauci will come clean. Why would Dr. Fauci come clean, Rand Paul? Why would he do that? Why would he not be evasive? And you've already said that he's a liar. Why would a liar stop being a liar? Because you know what you're doing is complete bullshit. It is slop for magatards who will see this and goon.
You argue that you did not personally issue every lockdown order, close every school, or impose every mandate. But officials across the country invoked your authority to justify these decisions. And you presented your recommendations not as judgments open to debate, but as dictates of science itself. Your own words demonstrate that you understood the influence you exercised. On March 14th, 2020, you wrote that the task force recommendations were driven by me, yourself, Deb, and CDC. The next day you wrote that you had convinced Mayor Bill de Blasio to close the New York City schools, so you were involved. That same night, Governor Gavin Newsom's chief of staff told you that the governor had decided to close California schools, bars, and restaurants after watching you on television. Presidents, governors, mayors, school boards, corporations, and Congress all...
Yeah, all right. That's just a rousing speech of bullshit. Amazing. How did it actually go? How did it actually go? Let's see. Let's start here. The fuck is this? Let's actually not start here. Let's start with this one over here. Let's see how this goes here. Let's see. How did it go, Rand? How did your master... Was getting caught part of your plan? No, I'm sorry. Was getting caught part of your plan? Of course. What's the next part of your master plan? Crashing this plane with no survivors.
Dr. Fauci, were you ever made aware of gain-of-function research on monkeypox being conducted at the National Biodefense Analysis and Countermeasure Center and back at Fort Detrick?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Good job. I do appreciate this about Fauci, is that he did not dignify this stupid dog and pony show with any substantive response. I know Rand Paul's still going to run around like he won something. No, what you did here is waste everyone's time. And at least Fauci is making that abundantly clear with his responses.
Dr. Fauci, did the CIA ever transfer funds to NIH under an interagency agreement?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Dr. Fauci.
Amazing, Rand. So good. Let's continue. Let's see how else the trial went. The trial, whatever. This is when they kicked out his lawyer for being disruptive.
But the attorneys are not recognized. In fact, the attorney was told not to sit at the table, and he's not obeying that recommendation. There's a row behind you, sir. That's where you were told to sit, and you're not. And now you're disrupting the proceedings. And so, look, this is the way Anthony Fauci wants to be remembered. For a lawyer not listening to the rules. That's the way you want to be remembered, and that's what you're going to do. You are not recognized, sir. Security, please remove him from the room.
Look at them clap like seals, like animals. They don't want, this is the crazy thing, is people do not want accountability. The average person is happy I swear, man, just send them VR goggles and heroin. What are we doing here? Why are we pretending they want anything? They don't want Medicare for all. They don't want Dr. Fauci in jail. They don't want their lives to be ameliorated. They don't. All they want is to feel good. That's all they want. That's a really sick realization you can have. The normie is evil. They are evil. All they want is better bread and circus. They don't want anything. That's how they are. They're animals.
I just clear.
Let the record state that Dr. Fauci will still have the advice of the other half a dozen attorneys that he brought along today.
Oh my God, dude. This country is just hell. It's terrible. Let's God, dude. Just a giant grandstanding session. Let's check this out here. Let's see this.
NIH funded putting aborted babies' fingers and scalps off the heads of aborted babies and putting them into the backs of research mice. The scalps later grew fine baby hair in the mice. They even included those disgusting photos in their research paper that you funded. Not all of those were research on coronaviruses, but some were. Thankfully, the current NIH director has said, no more of this. Dr. Fauci, yes or no? Do you think that human aborted parts should be put into mice for coronavirus research?
The advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based.
Thank you for declining. That's the stupidity. Dude, I just don't get it. Let me open the phone lines, by the way. It's a very private show, so I don't know. We'll see how this happens here. Anyone that wants to talk about COVID and all this stuff, get in here. I'll open the phone lines. Actually, I'll do it in like 5 minutes. I don't care about aborted baby scalps being used on mice because I'm not. Abortion is illegal now. I don't care. Why are you talking about this? This guy made life hell for 5 years. 5 years. And this is what a waste of people's times. These people should all be in jail. All of them. Thank you, Fauci, for doing that. Thank you for doing that. Let's continue. This is just him pleading the fifth on his own. It's not important. Let's see here. Josh Hawley. Look at how the MAGA accounts frame this. Holy shit. Josh Hawley just trolled the living hell out of Fauci and then absolutely destroyed and exposed him in front of the entire country. 900,000 views, 20,000 likes. So this is a perfect encapsulation of what the conservative wants. One of them can shut down the economy. The other one, what they want in revenge and response and justice is he trolled him and destroyed him. Whoa, he just destroyed him. Lib on, left wing gone. Whoa. You deserve to be in hell. You really do. You deserve to be. Let's see Josh Hawley's epic troll, man. What a troll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, nothing says honesty like taking the fifth, huh, Doc? Let's try something. What day of the week is it today?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color's the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Let's just get one thing straight. You don't have any rights under the Fifth Amendment. because you've been pardoned.
So why don't you do something about it? Instead of epic trolling and wasting everyone's time.
Very well know, as the Supreme Court has been clear for a century and more, Brown versus Walker, 1896, when he has been pardoned, he may not stand upon his privilege. You know that. Your lawyers sitting behind you now shifting nervously in their chairs, they know it. This isn't about the Constitution. This isn't about the law. This is about contempt. Contempt for this body and contempt for the American people. But I think I know why you're doing it. It's because you don't want to answer questions. It's because you did all kinds of terrible things. It's because during the pandemic, you got rich, didn't you? You got rich while people were dying.
He's talking to you. This asshole right here is talking to the idiots who live in whatever fucking flyover state Josh Hawley's. Who does Josh Hawley represent? Let's check real quick. Let's see who his constituents are. Josh Hawley, a senator from Missouri. Yeah, from Missouri. He's talking to all these fucking idiots in Missouri who vote for him. Right in smack dab in the middle of the country. So that they can be like, wow, Josh Hawley is such a based man. He really showed him. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
Hundreds of thousands of Americans, over 1 million in the end, and you were getting rich. And not only were you doing that, you were using federal employees with taxpayer money to apply for and solicit cash prizes for you personally. Cash prizes totaling over $1 million. You did all of that during the pandemic, didn't you? That's a question.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Thank you, Fauci. Thank you. Amazing. Amazing. This was the whole thing, by the way. It was just this crap. Just this crap. Oh, you want to watch another clip? Let's see more. I'm not kidding you. This was the whole thing.
Why would I be criticized by a bureaucrat for doing my very best as a healthcare? This is a rhetorical question. But why? Why would the government, who's never treated a patient for COVID, you can read all the things you want, but you're not there. You're not seeing patients. You're not watching people die, intubating patients right there with that disease in your face, watching it happen, watching the development of this disease and actually learning from it. But I'm being told by bureaucrats what's right and wrong. And what's funny is everything I was censored on, I was proven to be right. Pretty crazy, isn't it? You said in an interview that you gave as part of an audiobook written by Michael Spector that you believed an institutional should make it hard for people.
Old man yells at cloud is this whole thing. This whole thing. This is 3 minutes of this old man yelling at no one. Yelling at no one. This is, are you satisfied with your vote for Donald Trump, Republicans? Are you satisfied with this? Just slop, garbage, yelling. Is this really, this is what you voted for? I thought we would have to show more. I think that's enough, right? I mean, let's show how they were trolling, but then they got serious. Look at this.
It was about 6 years ago today that I decided I'm going to give up my businesses, sell them all, run for office, run for the United States Senate. Here I am sitting in front of you 6 years later saying, who the fuck do you think you were for doing that?
Oh, he said fuck. He said fuck to Fauci. That's crazy. Oh, man. Oh, that's pretty crazy. Wow, the senator said the F word. It's children. It's a bunch of children in this country. One more. He said the F.
Saying, who the fuck do you think you were for doing that?
Wow, that's crazy, man. Wow.
It is a total disgrace what you did to this country. And if my Democrat colleagues are standing there defending you, I hope the voters of the United States of America watch the clips of every one of you doting on a guy.
So you're literally admitting that you're clip farming. You're not doing anything but clip farming.
Who was more interested in being a celebrity than saving American people. I will make it my mission to make certain that every single one of those Democrats who did that will see that clip over and over and over again.
Oh, he's gonna make sure they watch the clip. He's gonna make sure they watch the clip. Sorry. Okay. This changes everything. Hang on. This changes everything. They're gonna watch the clip? That's crazy. Wow. What does that mean? Wow.
Again. Because there is no defense of what you did. You may have had a 50-plus year legacy of public service, but it ends in total and complete disgrace.
Thank you, Senator Moreno, for wasting everyone's goddamn time, man. I like this one here. This was great here. AF Post. This is one of these right-wing ones here. Read the caption. The only person who said it honestly. Republicans impotently screamed at a silent Fauci today during this hearing. Republicans are unlikely to do anything beyond performing for the cameras since Biden pardoned Fauci. Notably, Fauci was once embraced by Trump. Amazing. Amazing. Someone said it. Someone said it. Let's check over here. This is what Trump said after the hearings in regards to what they're going to do to him.
Well, the only thing you can really think about is the autopen, because the most powerful thing a president has, they say, is the power of pardon. So he was pardoned by Biden, and I respect that. I know how powerful it is. It's a very powerful, they say it's literally the most powerful thing a president has. Now, whether or not I sign my things directly, always, almost everything I sign directly. You're witness to many of them. He signed very few. The only thing I know that he signed was Hunter Biden's pardon, but I'm not sure that he signed, he probably didn't sign this one. So I can't tell you what the law is. I've heard that you have to have a lot of proof. You need to have letters. You need to have all sorts of things that the person operating the autopen has to know exactly what it's all about. He didn't know what it was about because I saw him testify. So maybe there's something on the autopen. Other than that, the power of pardon is very powerful.
So why are you letting your party do this? You're not going to do anything about it. So why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are you wasting everyone's goddamn time? Brother, man, this is a very slow show, but let me open up the phone lines anyway. Anyone wants to get in here. Get in here. I thought that CCTV would have called by now, because I remember one time he said, I would like to participate, but I don't have Discord. I don't like Discord. And it's like, okay, well, I have a Google Voice now. He doesn't call in. How amazing is that? So many people like that. I'm what's his name? The other guy, the tard, the MAGA tard. I forget his name. The one who's always in here Q posting. I want to be interviewed by, I want to show you the truth. Blah blah blah. Doesn't call in. Doesn't do shit. Bunch of fucking pussies, man. Anyway, Forehat. Yes, that's who I mean. Forehat. Fucking idiot. All right, while we do this, and this doesn't have to be about Fauci explicitly, but I would really appreciate from people that remember COVID, like how insane this was. Because if we can't get justice, we might as well, this is the one time I'm opening this door. Maybe we'll do it in the future again. I don't talk about this topic. So if you want to talk about COVID, call in today. Because this was the worst thing that ever happened in my whole life. Worse than the financial crisis. Worse than 9/11, worse than, this was the worst thing ever. And I don't like to talk about it. But I would appreciate if people called in that had similar experiences, So let's while we do that, let's look at some COVID memories here. Let's look at this.
Guys, he's like gonna jump on in like 1 minute.
I know, he's almost here. I have the participant window open.
If you don't recall, these were the Try Guys. These were for, I guess they were heterosexual. I don't know. For BuzzFeed, that one of them ended up cheating on his wife, which I was just glad to learn he was straight, and they had to break up their thing. And I don't even know what the point of this was.
I get to allow him to enter?
It's weird. I'm gonna be smiling because I'm just excited to see him.
Some nervous energy.
He's a busy man. He's doing lots of world saving.
We were 45 minutes early. Okay, ready? I'm admitting him right now. Here we go.
Hey, hi guys. How you doing?
Hi, Dr. Fauci.
Not just them, man. Like, dude, I really have to tell you, this is where I go back and forth in my mind. Trump is clearly like a clown in a lot of ways and everything, but these people were embarrassing. So embarrassed. And these were like run-of-the-mill centrist Democrats that embraced this level of retardation during COVID. So I look at them and I go, you know, you probably would be a more competent manager of the country. You probably would be. But I can't believe that you did this. I really can't. This was everywhere. You remember when Nancy Pelosi showed us her ice cream collection? People were locked in their homes. Income's gone. And this is what they were doing. Let's see some more. There's a great page I follow called This Day in COVID. Let's look at it. This was kind of funny. You remember this guy? We've seen him before. Where is it? Right here.
Dr. Fauci, give us vaccines. Help all the people who have been quarantined. We'll wear our masks and we'll have to stay distant. We'll wash our hands and we'll be more resistant. Fauci, yes? Promise us, please. We'll have a cure that can fight off this disease. Restrictions will lift with some ease. Dr. Fauci, don't forget me.
You know, COVID is what really changed my mind in terms of before COVID, I was very concerned about time, right? Like I was told my whole life, you know, like you got to be on the ball, man. Like time runs out quicker than you think. You got to make sure that your time isn't being wasted. You got to have your time, right? And I don't like having my time being wasted. But I was like, dude, I'm going to do accelerated tracks academically. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to move to New York, even though I didn't want to for a finance position. And then I remember all of those life lessons that had been taught, you know, like, oh, you know, be proactive and all this were suspended for a period of about 5 years. You know, people like to act like it was a year. It was like 5 years where they said, no, stay home, stay blind. Look, it's not worth this. It's not worth it. Okay. So we have to wait here. We have to like not allow ourselves, our selfishness to bring us forward. We have to, you know, think of the future, you know? And nowadays you'll hear people say things like time is running out. You know, we need to do this now. Don't have your time wasted. Donald Trump is wasting your time. You'll hear that from Democrats. Donald Trump is wasting your time. Time isn't worth anything. You wasted 5 years of it. So what do we care about now? If time mattered, you would send me a bill for unused time at the end of the year. You didn't care about it then. Why should I care about it now? Which is becoming evident in the unemployment numbers and everything where people do not care anymore. These animals wanted to keep everyone on the hamster wheel and they broke it. They broke it. Let's continue. What else happened during this period? Remember this? What was this? The nurses. Proven. To who lost the most respect in COVID? Nurses or doctors or teachers or police? Like who lost? It wasn't police because conservatives are retarded, so they respect the police again. Let's see this. I don't know what the point of this was. Like, why were they in real time? They all went crazy. We had the celebrity Imagine video. In real time, they were doing this crazy shit. They were posting themselves having learned TikTok dances. I'm sure this takes some time. Instead of saving lives as they claimed they were posting TikTok dances. This was international. This is in Germany. Why? Why were they doing this? Can someone explain? This was a crazy time in America and the world. They lost. I don't respect nurses anymore, man. I really don't. Or doctors. Doctors is a little bit more personal as to why I don't respect them. Partially, it's COVID, like 70% of it, 30% of it is some issues I've had in my life with doctors. This, though, I was like, dude, you are all scum. Like, you're all fucking idiots. You are genuinely dumb people. They were dancing like wow. It's crazy to rewatch this. Dancing like a bunch of children. Was there dancing like this during the Spanish flu? Were they doing like, I don't know, like what was it back then? Like Pathé 9.5mm dancing? These people were fucking insane. And they tried to make you forget this. I remember this because I was one of the only people who was not retarded. And by the way, it wasn't even ideological. My opposition to the COVID thing was largely financial. Because I was like, dude, I don't think this is good for the economy. And they would tell me, oh, all you care about is the economy. And I would say, you care about the economy too. Just because you don't remember that you care about it right now doesn't mean you're not going to care later. And they said, no, fuck you. You're an idiot. And I would say, dude, this is crazy. The other reason I cared was because I've always been very passionate privately about medical research. And I'm not an educated guy on that stuff, but I had followed mRNA technology for years. I was very excited about it. My rudimentary understanding at the time was that it had been inspired or at least analogized to the way tortoises and elephants fight cancer, and that it was going to cure cancer. And then when I found out they were going to use this for a virus, I went, are we out of our goddamn minds? What is this? Why would we do this? It seems more complicated. The Chinese just made the Sino shot. What was it? The Sino shot? I'm sure that was fine. And the Russians, they made their, what was it? Sputnik vax or something. I'm sure that was poison. Whatever. Look, I didn't get any of them. But I was like, why did they do this? Like, why would you put this in such a bad light for the future? Insane. Why don't you call in, CCTV, man? If you have stuff to say, why don't you call in, man? I'm curious as to what you have to say. I'm curious to see your memories at the time. Let's look at this. This is how they promoted the vaccine back then. Look at this.
If this were the real COVID-19, I would be in real trouble because I have asthma.
And I have depression.
I have diabetes.
And I struggle with my weight. For us, COVID is a whole different ballgame.
In fact, you could be one of almost 200 million Americans with a high risk factor that makes COVID even riskier.
Which is why you need to be ready and have a plan. Other risk factors including heart disease or being inactive.
Even being over 50 or being a smoker can put you at serious risk.
Could that be you? Find out. Go to NoPlanGood.com and know your risk factors. Then make a plan.
Because if you get COVID on top of asthma, like I did, the last thing you want to do is wait and see. Be ready, have a plan.
I think that COVID killed celebrity endorsements too. So COVID and depression. Can you imagine this claim that a virus is going to affect depression. These people deserve no quarter, man. Like, this is insane. This is insane that this is the way that the world was. This is crazy to me. It's crazy that this was allowed. You're a sick fuck, Michael Phelps, for that. I blame them. People love to say about actors like, oh, they're just doing their job. They're just doing that. Fuck you. Questlove, it's my fault that you're a fat piece of shit. This is the stuff that would matter if they gave a shit about actually putting this guy behind bars or doing. They don't care. They don't care. Remember, viral moment. I hate everything's not here tonight, but this was a crazy moment for me watching this. Was Bill de Blasio, who I think is going down in history as the worst mayor New York ever had, promoting slop to get a vaccine. Let's watch this.
Free fries when you get vaccinated? I got vaccinated. You're saying I could get this? These delicious fries? Wait a minute. But there's also a burger element to this? Let me check with Bill Neathart. Is it too early in the day to eat a burger? No. This can be breakfast? Okay. I want you to look at this and think about, again, some people love hamburgers, some don't. Really want to respect all ways of life. But if this is appealing to you, just think of this when you think of vaccination. Vaccination. I'm getting a very good feeling about vaccination right
now. I slop, garbage, promoting for health. What a dystopian time. Dystopian. Disgusting, man. Disgusting. Yo, Jay Boss, if you can get in here, man, I'm curious as to how you experience this since no one else is calling in, sir. If you have some time today. We're almost wrapped up here. Let's see this here.
The tree before my spirit falls again. Fill up the stockings. I might be rushing things, but deck the halls again now. Oh, we need a little Christmas right this very minute. Candles in the window, carols at the spinning. Yes, we need a little.
Oh, he's here. Let's get him in here. This is a good guy right here, Jay Boss. Let me get him in here. Jay Boss, how you doing, man?
How are you doing, King Leo? Good. How about you?
I'm not doing. I can't watch this. It genuinely makes me angry, like watching this stuff now. It really does bother me. How did you experience this? Were you in America?
Yes, I was in New York City. I
no,
to share my experience.
Oh, that's crazy. What? How was it?
So first of all, I was the only person outside of the police. I have to give them credit. None of the police had a mask on that I can remember. And they were always nice to me, always. I have to give them credit, okay? Because I constantly tried to access them, to try to get into buildings, to try and get my rights into stores and so on. But they said they couldn't help. But they were always very nice to me. They did not enforce the mask at all. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm just being honest. Now, outside of that, I was outside of the police. I was the only person not wearing a mask, okay? And people would not only give me the eye, or the eyes, however it's the expression, they would actually yell at me from within their masks.
No way. What would they say? What would they say?
They would say, "Where's your mask? You have to wear a mask." And I would yell back. I would say, well, I can't say it here on YouTube, but I would say, sarcastically, the opposite of, these things totally exist and they can totally enforce you by the law to wear the mask.
Okay.
I would say the opposite, yes. And I actually got, some black guys, which I thought that they should be more, they should make more use of their black card, but they weren't doing that. But instead, they would give me credit after the fact, after they saw me yelling back at these, of course, always white guys, very, weak white guys. they would be yelling at me to put the mask on, where's my mask, and so on. And then these black guys afterwards, they would look at me and give me the okay sign and give me a salute. But I would never see them using their black card. I would always think this is the moment that you should use it, because within the stores, they would be wearing the masks just as well. And then I have more to say if you have any comments.
No. Please tell me.
The other thing that was very easy to observe, and I think a lot of people in New York had the experience, is restaurants would be making these booths outside. So they would be out of canvas material. They would go into the sidewalk and sometimes into the streets where the cars park. So that lane where the cars park, they would put some booth all the way up to there. And of course, it's full of rats by nighttime. And so the rats would go onto the tables themselves. They would go jump onto the chair, onto the table. And so at like 8 p.m., 9 p.m., when I would be doing my grocery shopping, I would walk around these completely empty booths, restaurant booths, outside of the restaurant itself. And there would be rats on top of the table.
No.
And so I would constantly get this contrast about how much we care for the things we don't see, but we don't care for the things we see. Another example of that goes exactly in parallel to what I just said with the rats on top of the table of the restaurant would be, I would go into the pharmacy and they would have, of course, you have to wear the mask. They would have the plaque and the card and so on. But of course, they wouldn't give me any trouble. I would always walk in without a mask. Nobody cared. So they would let all the cards and the plaques do the job for them, but they wouldn't confront me head on. And then they would have the stickers on the floor as well. Oh, you have to stand here, as you're waiting for the prescription or whatever. And so the stickers would be like 6 feet apart, and everybody would be respecting the stickers and so on. But at the same time, so they would care so much about what they couldn't see, but at the same time, they would still allow the dogs to come into the pharmacy. It's like, dude, you're crazy. This dog is enormous. Everyone can see it. The dog is sniffing on everything with its, dirty nose.
Yes.
And I would call the pharmacy. I would call Walgreens and CVS. I'd say, look, you even have the plaque that says the dogs cannot go in, but you allow it. But they don't care, because what they care is putting the sticker in, putting the plaque, and seeming like they're doing the nice thing, the correct thing. And so that was some of my experience.
On the macro level, man, dude, what was this? Was this some sort of psychosis that these people acquired? Because on the point you're saying, something that really bothered me is that during COVID, because I've always been a bit of a germ freak, but not like I shake hands and everything, right? But I like to wash my hands with soap, right? As soon as COVID restrictions were lifted, these animals, the goys, they don't wash their hands anymore. They don't care anymore. I remember during COVID, they tell me, oh, wash your hands. I'm like, was I not going to? Do you think I'm an animal? They don't wash their hands anymore. What is this? This really black-pilled me in terms of human nature. Like these people, what was it? Psychosis? Is this the nature of the normie? What's your working theory?
That is a very tough question. I am not going to pretend that I know the answer. I can only contribute some data around it. I have dated Nordic women, and this is not, I love the Nordic people. I love them just like you say you love white people. I love all white people, even if they're Nordic, there's no problem. But if anyone goes online and finds a map of who in Europe washes their hands the most, and who in Europe takes showers the most, it's always Iberians that shower the most, that take the most showers, and some Italians as well. And I, as an Iberian, I wash my hands. I'm not a germaphobe, but I'm always clean. I take multiple showers every day. I'm not saying you have to take multiple showers, but the point is, Nordic people are not very big into hygiene. I don't know if it's because maybe they're adapted to the cold and maybe they don't sweat as much. And so maybe they don't think that they need to take as many showers. And so, for instance, a Nordic person can go to bed after a whole day of working and so on, and then not take a shower before bed. Like, to me, that is not even doable. If I go to bed without a shower, I'm not sleeping. It's pointless.
Right.
It doesn't work. And so, and then the same thing goes, I think, for South America and so on, because they were colonized by Iberians. They actually take more showers and wash their hands more than all of Northern Europe. So it's very hard for me to understand. I never would have bet that the people in the United States as a whole, because it's full of British people and Irish and Germans and Scottish, I would never have bet that they would have cared so much about this, even on top of the fact that they cannot see this germ, the dirt. And so I've dealt with them a lot. You know, they have the women that I've dated that were Nordic, I'm sorry to say, but they were the smelliest. And so you had to forgive them for that. I don't know if they couldn't, they didn't believe in douching or whatever.
on that point, man, because I think the reason, I think you have like an esoteric theory as to why, like, you don't believe that this happened, right? Okay. No. Mine wasn't really that. Mine was more so, I remember two of my like biggest memories as a kid were one of my friends contracted the H1N1 virus when I was in elementary school, and he had to like go home for a few weeks, right? This was under Obama. And I saw that, like, it fucked up his face for a little bit, and it kind of traumatized me a little bit, right? And I was like, okay, wow, that's scary. And we didn't shut down the world for H1N1. We didn't do that, right? And then I remember under Obama as well, we had Ebola. And when I read what Ebola was as a kid, I'm like, dude, why aren't we closing the whole country? This is the scariest shit in the world. And they didn't close the country. In fact, I recall specifically, they let cruise ships dock that had Ebola cases on them. And so when this happened, I was like, what the fuck are we pretending here? We didn't shut down the country for Ebola. We didn't shut down the country for H1N1. What is this? I don't even get how people can fall for this, you know?
Yeah, I think there was a psychological operation during that beginning of, you know, the very onset of this COVID-19, because of the fact that, do you remember the videos? And you didn't show any of them, but the videos of people, they would be walking on the street and then all of a sudden they'd collapse.
Yes,
and,
yes.
Yeah. So I remember those distinctly. And I think that they were very much a part of a psychological operation, because why would they, and they would even be all over social media. So they really made sure that the people who weren't watching TV, which at the time I think it was at peak non-TV watchers, that everyone online would be seeing this and would be afraid because of this. So I think it was very much on purpose.
So it was visual. I get that, dude, because I don't know, man. I read about this and I was like, this sounds like a virus. Okay. When I read about Ebola as a kid, I was like, you shit your intestines out of your ass. That's really profoundly scary. I'm scared of Ebola. I don't want to contract Ebola. This thing, I was like, you're right. I mean, those videos came out of China mostly, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Do you blame China for this, or do you blame America? Because I never got a satisfactory answer, and at this point, I'm too lazy to care.
Right. Well, of course, unlike some other conspiracies, which we can look at documents that have been released and so on, it's very hard to investigate anything to do with China. And especially around this, they talk about the bats, they talk about the Wuhan, wet markets.
Market, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if all of these things are true. I have never been there. I know that some Russians cross the border to buy things in China, but I don't know on the ground what's happening. So I cannot pretend. Now, if I can only operate given these narratives that we have all been fed, then it does seem to me that maybe there was a laboratory there, and then maybe, and at this point, you might disagree with me, but like, I don't think that China has the highest standards of anything. I don't think that.
No, and that's without question. Absolutely.
Right. Okay. So then I think that they couldn't possibly be operating these laboratories in a good way, and therefore, just like I see with the China show all the time, their buildings going up in flames and all their factories going up in flames and everything, the tofu drag buildings crumbling down all over, and the streets having these enormous holes, chasm sized holes in them. I also think that it's very reasonable to think that their laboratory research would let out something that they would be researching, whatever that something is, and would cause a huge problem. And in fact, from what I could see from the videos that they were censoring, it seems that China was the polar opposite of Sweden in this regard. Sweden famously
Totally
didn't
open.
close
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
down, right? Yeah. And then China, even past the Western world closing everything down, they were still closing everything down. They had these big billboards saying, that it was even more than the pharmacy with the stickers. They had billboards everywhere. And also they would come in with these sort of a canvas to hide away things that happened. And so they would quickly install these big, like a canvas booth around things that they didn't want you to see. And it was a huge operation. And they would also install these makeshift COVID. Just like in New York, we did have these small booths where you could get vaccinated in the booth, but they would have a much bigger booth, and it was like a makeshift street laboratory to take care of people who were dying, apparently. And so they were really making a huge dramatic fuss around this thing, probably for theatrics, but they were taking it a lot more seriously. And I thought at the time that it was some sort of an operation that had its core in China. Maybe it was an economic operation, but I really don't have like a whole theory around this. But maybe someone they wanted to retract the economic progress of countries, maybe. And so then they installed this operation to kind of hold us back a little bit. But I honestly don't have a whole theory around it.
I don't either, and this is why like the Fauci thing is really annoying to me, that the Rand Paul's doing, where because I'll admit I'm biased for China. I visited China a year before COVID, right? And when this happened, my attitude was always Xi Jinping didn't tell Donald Trump to shut the country down. It was Tucker Carlson.
Right.
It was Tucker Carlson. I'm not even kidding. Tucker Carlson is the one who got Trump to shut the country down. It was him. Everyone forgets this. He flew to Mar-a-Lago and told him to shut the country down. He did. So that wasn't Xi Jinping. Who told the Fed to print all this money? Was it Xi Jinping? I don't think it was Xi Jinping. The Fed was buying through BlackRock Philip Morris bonds during COVID. And that was insane to me when I read about it. And so I don't give a shit if it was China or not. This is why it's like kind of meaningless to me. And I'm like, you people did this. I can say whatever I want. I can say that everyone's going to get AIDS tomorrow. It's your reaction. It's on you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I don't think any of the people that you mentioned should be spared of blame. And then to the point of the Fed, I thought that they weren't supposed to be steered from outside of themselves. In other words, like that they shouldn't be influenced. So how is it that someone was able to tell them, print more money, and then they went ahead and did it? So I think they might have been in it somehow, but I don't know exactly how the pieces fit together. And then I wanted to comment something about the nurses. I think the nurses were dancing because of the financial boom that they were experiencing. And also, I think that they're experiencing something similar today, because I see some videos online about nurses becoming millionaires. And I can only then sort of estimate, backtracking, that they were also making bank, especially compared to other people. But I think that when you have this sudden boom, and then all of a sudden you're making all of this money, and then all of a sudden everybody else around you is in such financial worries, that you cannot help but dance and be super happy. It's sort of a comparison. Yeah, exactly. This jubilation is sort of like a comparison thing. It's like, oh, these other people are doing so bad, but I'm doing so well, so I'm at the top of the world, and so you're beaming now, and then you have to put it out, and so that's why everybody became an artist. And doctors, I guess, even more so, although I haven't seen the videos of doctors becoming millionaires, but I'm sure that this is a stereotype already, so we don't need to see these videos. But I do see the videos of nurses becoming millionaires nowadays, and I think that they just couldn't control themselves. I think that's what was happening.
I have to say they lost. I don't know, man. I think that nurses, I can't tell, because you can only really experience it your own experience, right? I don't respect nurses at all. And I know that it's a great career choice at this point, man, because you're just betting on people getting older, and that's what's happening in the world, right? So you're going to be doing home health and end of life care and all this. But I do think that they lost a lot of prestige from their attitudes here. I was always from the beginning, because my thing started with the financial and monetary side, right? Where I was like, I think this is a bad idea. I don't think it's a good idea. But then I remember, and this did happen. I was like, dude, when they shut down your income and you're a recovering drug addict who lives in an apartment that you can barely afford with your wife who just quit her job, and you have one kid and they wake up in the middle of the night and they're crying because they're 2 months old. When that guy loses his income and the bill is due and no one's helping him, and he starts beating on that woman, who's going to pay for those court bills? We're going to pay for them. And that was abundantly clear to me it was going to happen. And it did, because domestic violence rates shot through the roof, as well as petty crime and all this. And I was like, you are literally creating the conditions for more crime. You are doing things to people that resulted in what we have today, where all the normies are fucking insane.
Yes, I completely agree. There were enormous side effects that are seldom discussed. And to add insult to injury, those side effects all happened at some sort of an economic peak. I can't make this argument perfectly, but I remember that a lot of people were being interviewed. I'm not sure if the interviews happened around 2019 or right after, and then they were talking about it in hindsight. But a lot of people were reporting that they were at the apex, at the high point of their careers, at the high point of their small businesses. People were expanding, they were investing more in their businesses, and then all of a sudden this 2019 comes, and then it's like sandcastles when the flow comes. And so it completely destroyed everything, completely destroyed people's dreams, their lives. All the money that they had invested was all gone. Livelihoods were completely destroyed. So there was indeed the insult to injury there, and the fact that there's all of this that we don't discuss on top of it. All of the domestic violence, all of the people probably ending their own lives and their own families as well, divorces, and then less kids being made, which is always a problem. Go ahead.
I don't think that people have the memory. It's very odd to find someone who will speak candidly with memory of this. I remember I was in New York with my producer probably like 2 years ago, and there was like a black bouncer at a bar, and my producer started talking to him, and he was like, "Hey man, how you doing?" Blah, blah. And then before they got onto the topic of COVID, and he was like, "Shit, man. Back in the day in 2019, I was making so much money. Everybody and their mama was getting money from me. Everybody. I was taking care of my wife, my cousin, and then it all went away. And now I'm working at 3 different places." And I was like, wow, this is a guy who remembers this. Like, someone remembers, because I feel like I'm the only one who remembers this. It's crazy. But a lot of people don't remember this.
Yeah, unfortunately, we are memory holding this, but I'll tell you something. It is normal for something like this to become memory hold right after, and then maybe decades later, it comes back up, and people can discuss it, and then they can even do something about it. I'll give you an example, even though it goes against my own narrative of it. But the bad things that happened or that supposedly happened in 1940s, it was only in 1968 that people started talking about them, and that they started to make the movies about them, and they started to want reparations and so on. And so there is a time, and I also think that this is our 1940s. This is another point that I wanted to make. And so I really, really don't care anymore to be talking about 1940s atrocities, because we already have our own atrocity in the Western world for Western people. This was our atrocity, and this is the one that I want reparations for. It's, like you said, 5 years of people's lives that were completely wasted, thrown down the drain, and they're not recoverable. And instead, we got a whole inflation, loss of purchasing power, and it's an entire atrocity around.
And you're saying Western. How many people died in Africa and Latin America because of this? How many people died? Like that's what I never understood about these people. They never considered those people. Like how many people died because of this?
But I also want to remind everyone that Africa was very what is the word? Something to be emulated, because they had some leaders that spoke against it,
Yeah.
that said that they wouldn't be giving the vaccines to people, wouldn't be distributing them, wouldn't be accepting help, and they were leading that thought and shaming everyone else who just fell in line. So I got to give them credit, because and that's something else for Black people, that they have an independence of thought, and they don't just fall in line. They have a suspicion to them that is very healthy, and it ends up helping them in the long run.
Dude,
So,
the Hoteps at the time, like, because I was in like a lot of Hotep networks back then. I went to their conferences during this, and the Nation of Islam was there and all this shit. And I was like, hey man, at least maybe we don't agree on everything, but at least they're holding it down. Dude, they were talking to me about Tuskegee and all this. I was like, I know about that, man. I know what you're talking about. Like, this is just, I don't understand how everyone else fell for this crap, man. It's just, and this is what bothers me about it, man, is like, you're saying 28 years. So by 2048, we might have Fauci in prison. I mean, he'll be gone by then. These people, none of them are going to be held responsible. And I think it's just harmful to play with people's emotions in the way that Rand Paul and Trump are doing right now. These people are just animals to do this to us. Like, oh, he got destroyed. He got so owned. Oh, thank you. I wanted him to get owned. I actually wanted him to go to prison, but okay.
And what about the fact, I would want to hear your remarks on this, that maybe, I don't know, I never know with you if I should say the left or the liberals, but one of those, whichever you want, they were always against big pharma, and then all of a sudden they were loving big pharma for saving us with the vaccine. So what do you think of this face?
A moment that, like, during the pandemic, I remember specifically, man, was that I used to go to this hippie bookshop here in Miami as the last used bookstore. And this lady she sells raw milk and all this, but she's like a Libby like hippie. And she was like, I regret getting the vaccine. And she was wearing the mask. And I was like, bitch, you knew this. Like, you sell alternative medicine. You've been doing it your whole life that I've known you. How could you even consider this? And I'm not even saying, dude, I don't know. Look, I don't tell people what to do medically. I saw a guy die from myocarditis in front of me. So that's my opinions, and I had family affected by this. But how is this woman falling for this? Like, this is crazy. I don't tell people what to do, but I was, wow, there's no principles here. There's nothing, It really made me like, the normie is just an animal, dude. Like, they'll do whatever they're told to do.
That is so interesting. I didn't have a data point about these alternative medicine people, but it's very interesting to see that they went running for the big pharma. And meanwhile, I have always been a skeptic towards anything alternative.
Yes.
Never believed in any of them. Have had myriad discussions online against them. Have always been for medicine and so on, strictly. And then when this came out, I immediately said, "This is BS."
The thing that got me wasn't even look, I already said, like, the mRNA thing bothered me because I was like, dude, this is for cancer. I know what this is for. Like, it's actually good for cancer. And that supposedly they're going to do that. But the thing that bothered me about it was they gave the companies indemnity. And I went, you want me to do a medical intervention where you have given them indemnity for permanently? Like, I wouldn't do anything like that with any company. If the Snickers Corporation had indemnity to eating Snickers, I would not eat Snickers. And they did that. And I was like, this is so blatantly an abuse of power. How can you do this? And that to me was enough. I'm like, dude, I'm not getting some shit I can't sue over later. That's it. And people still did it. They didn't give a shit. They're, oh, okay. And now they want to sue. Like some people. Yeah, okay, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, and look, there's nothing wrong at coming at this from different angles. You came at it from this more economic angle, and if I may say how I came at it, I'm going to be very mindful here of YouTube policy. Don't worry, but let me know if I'm saying something that I shouldn't. But I'll be very careful. But I remember watching a very old Joe Rogan episode where he brought in some guy to talk about AIDS. I'm just going to leave it at that. And that episode can be found. And that is really what put into my mind, because I have always been into Joe Rogan's curiosity for alternative thinking and being critical thinking applied to the real world. And so he was being very critical about this whole part of medicine, let's put it that way. And so then that stuck with me. And since then, I have never seen anything, that proves to me that dragons exist, that centaurs exist, that leprechauns exist, that unicorns exist, mermaids, if you catch my drift. And so I wouldn't believe in any of those things. And then to make a more whimsical point here about how is it that people might have fallen for this, I don't know if you've ever watched the Garfield animated cartoons. They used to be on Cartoon Network. Yeah. And so there was an episode, I don't know if you're going to remember, but it was the episode where Garfield was, or rather John Arbuckle, right, was being tried to be sold this anti-elephant spray.
Okay.
Do you remember that one?
No.
And so, but the whole point of the episode is like, but there are no elephants around. Why do we need this spray? And then the sales guy would be, well, exactly, because this spray is working.
I understand what you're alluding to with the AIDS virus, right? But what you're saying, dude, I think it's still a pretty common attitude. Like, don't people not get the flu vaccine? Like, I think a lot of people don't get it, because they're like, it's all bullshit anyway. I remember that there was like a movement against that. I don't know if people changed since COVID, but there was always like the lefty saying, this is all bullshit. Why do we need to do this? And you're right, like it's gone now. It's gone. I don't know where that went. Like, it's you need to.
I know, and this is how manipulable people are, and this is why I like when you say, the normies are evil, basically.
They're
because
evil.
There is a part of them, there is a part of them that is always putting out this theatrical thing, trying to manipulate other people based on their theaters. I'm not sure if this is exactly how you arrive at the situation. I would love to hear more about this theory, because it's frankly something new to me, but it goes back to something in philosophy that is about the discussion of whether ignorance itself is evil, right? And so, but I would be curious about your perspective, how you come at that. You don't need to expound on this right now exactly, but if you would make a show about it, or come in with some examples about how you think about that, because that is something new to me, and I'm open to that sort of thinking, because it's not how I thought before, but after COVID, it does seem that there's some truth to that.
Dude, I literally, you're confirming. I want to make a video called "Normies Are Evil." I don't know how good it's gonna do, but I was planning on doing it tomorrow.
Wow.
Because I mean, my theory is basically, to keep it short, that the normie is a locust at the end of the day, and what that means is that they consume, and consuming is it's genuinely scary when you see it, because as we saw here, there's no critical thought in assessing whether this is a real threat or what it is. They just go along with what it, and I think this is what I mean by evil, is that the normie will look me in the face now and tell me, why is everything so expensive? Why is everything so bad? And I go, you deserve everything that you're getting, actually, because you didn't listen then. You're not going to listen now. You don't want an actual explanation as to why things are expensive. None of it was your fault, according to you. That's evil. I don't know how else to call that. They deserve everything that they get, because they cheer this stuff on, and then when the consequences arrive, they cry. I don't know why this is. Why does my nose hurt after I hit myself in the face with a hammer? Well, if you hadn't hit yourself with a hammer, but they told me that was a good idea. Well, maybe you shouldn't have listened. I don't know, but that seemed like a really good idea, and that's a conversation with them. They're locusts. Like they don't possess any sense of critical thought. It's really a fascinating creature, the normie, man. Like, they're scary.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And as you said, no critical thought, and also no principles, like you said. Right?
No principles. No.
And that's part of what makes it so scary. But yeah, that's what I had to say. I appreciate the conversation. Appreciate you having me on, and love the show.
Appreciate you, man. I always appreciate talking to someone about this topic, because I don't like to talk about it, but with people that still remember the pre-2020 world, it's nice to talk to them about it because.
So how is it that they say, "Don't forget, lest we forget"? What is it?
Never forget. Never forget. For
Never
9/11,
forget
right?
that.
Yeah.
So no. Well, that wasn't for 9/11. That was for 1940s. But
Okay.
now it's my slogan. Now, never forget, 2019. And so
it was so good. It was, dude. I don't think people will believe. That's the thing that bothers me with kids, and I feel like an idiot saying it, right? Because dude, like millennials that are honest, which are rare, will tell you, they'll be like, dude, you missed out, man. I only got to live a few years of the pre-COVID world, but with these kids, I'm like, fuck, dude, you missed out entirely. It was so much fun.
missed out entirely. It was. And people were great. People were really great.
They were really
Even the
cool.
normies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The one I tell them is, I'm like, dude, the people used to, you would go into an ice cream store in America and you would leave a tip and they would sing a song for you. They would sing the song and they go, no, there's no way. I mean, no, yes, people had money for tips and the employees would sing. It was called Cold Stone Creamery. It was terrible. They'd go, no, that's not real. You're lying to me. It's crazy.
In Hard Rock Cafe as well, they would sing.
It's all gone. It's all gone. Damn.
Different world, yeah. Mhm.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to that Normies Are Evil episode.
All right, man.
Cheers.
I'll be out tomorrow.
Mhm.
All right. Wow. That's always fun. It's always fun to. All right, everyone. It's time to get out of here. See, Jose came in here. How you doing, Jose? Interesting. We should have brought that up. I didn't know, but I remember the Italy thing. You're right. It went over time, but whenever I get to reminisce about 2019, I take the advantage. Whenever someone remembers how amazing that period was. So. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I appreciate you. Very slow show. Very slow. I think it's because people are like doing back to school or something. Traffic has been slow on all my socials. I'm like, things are being slow. But it's good. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Make sure you join the Patreon, join all this stuff. You know what the deal is. It's in the description and everything. I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, right? Hell yeah. Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday already. I'm going to shoot a bunch of videos tomorrow, man. For that, and like I'm going to start banking stuff. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you next time.
Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Change the world. My final message.